Hello everyone, it's KF Lawless, and I'm back with another advanced OU commentary set for the ADV Revival 2 tournament. Thank you all so much for the kind comments and feedback I got on my first submission. I didn't actually know that you could play back slower than normal, so I was playing it at full speed and just kind of rolling with it, which I wasn't an issue on the speed perspective, but I definitely realized that I lacked some more critical analysis on the games due to things kind of going fast. So I'll try and slow it down this time and see what little insight I can actually add to to the games themselves. But it's a pleasure to be back, and I hope you guys enjoy this set. So today's set is going to be between Cyber Odin and Firemaster or Hikari. However, neither one of those names is appearing on the screen in these in this playback. We have a I Love You Jesus versus X Hoshi, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I don't know who is who, but let's get started. Right, Zapdos versus Salamence leading off. Not exactly super heavily imbalanced in one direction to the other. Both players are going to switch out though, with Celebi coming in on a Snorlax here. Leech Seed is going to go to the left, and a +1 Shadow Ball is going to do about 46% to the Celebi. Sand isn't up, so there is a little bit of chip heal there, and the Recover is going to give all that health back. Shadow Ball again not doing that 50% to break even there on the Celebi, and so I think Jesus here is going to go for a safe Leech Seed just to start grabbing some HP from this Snorlax. Snorlax having a huge HP pool, so that is going to be healing a lot of health for the Pokemon on the receiving end. Snorlax happy to just curse up here, saying, you know, these Leech Seeds, they're a little bit annoying, but until you give me a reason to fear for my life, I'm just gonna sit here and do my thing. So Tyranitar comes in off the Baton Pass, very comfortable with this Leech Seed, providing constant healing, and the Sandstorm now taking away Snorlax's chip heal with the leftovers means even with that +3 attack and defense, Snorlax is on a timer with the possibility of a Rock Slide flinch. You always have to be careful from Snorlax's perspective, but he does break through the flinch and is able to get off the rest, healing himself up. However, Titar is packing the Focus Punch here. Metagross is going to come in and grab that Focus Punch with a 49%, revealing leftovers on it, so it means it may be just a standard bulky 3 attacks and protect set, possibly. Zapdos coming in, very safe switch into Metagross, immune to Earthquake, resists Meteor Mash, so on and so forth. And a strong Thunderbolt is going to come out, blocked by a Celebi though. Celebi is one of the better Pokemon at taking on Zapdos for sure. And now a double switch to Snorlax. Interesting. Zapdos Baton passing out, actually getting the switch advantage here and going to Dugtrio. Will 2 Earthquakes be enough to do the trick? Maybe? I think so. After the Sand Chip on the next turn, I think this will kill the Snorlax, but I think that it has one more turn of sleep. Yeah, that's right. So there's going to be a guaranteed KO on the Snorlax here. Very good move by our player on the left, who loves Jesus. I'm still not sure if that's Cyber Odin or the other guy. But Salamence is going to come here and going to reveal what I assume is going to be HP Flying from that damage. I feel like HP Grass would have done even less. Dragon... Oh, never mind. Maybe it was HP Grass, because the Dragon Claw does come out, and Salamence is going to take a Toxic here. We saw leftovers, so there's no fear of that being a Lumberry Salamence. And now putting that on a timer effectively is going to limit its options for staying in, even if it can get the KO on Zapdos. Good switch into Celebi here, just to kind of handle the Zapdos a little bit more safely than the Salamence could with that timer on it with the Toxic. However, now we have a little bit of a Celebi stalemate. We saw Recover, Leech Seed, and Baton Pass on the Celebi on the left side over here, so we know there isn't really much it can do to the opposing Celebi, but Dugtrio coming in, does it have the HP Bug? I don't know. It might be coming out here in just a second, and will that be? That is going to be enough. A good Choice Banded HP Bug, ×4 effective on the Celebi, is going to be just what the doctor ordered. Zapdos coming in probably is death fodder at this point. Oh, and a scary Agility coming out from Metagross. Normally when I run Metagross, I prefer to run Agility Metagross with a Lumberry, but leftovers is perfectly viable as well. Meteor Mash coming out, that's going to do a good 20%. No attack raise, luckily for our player on the left here. However, Metagross is going to be scared out by a super effective Earthquake, bringing in Zapdos. A very good play, knowing when you should just sacrifice your agility and get your Pokemon out there safely. Going for the Protect here to scout for the HP Grass. Very good move, getting some chip heal up. I think from 100%, you might be able to survive a non-modest HP grass with Swampert, so maybe there's merit in staying in. But the Salamence does come in on the Celebi switch. Really good switch, or double switch I suppose, from the player on the right, bringing in that Salamence for an advantageous position. T-Tar coming in to tank a Fire Blast. Unfortunately does get crit. We've seen Hidden Power Grass, I believe, Dragon Claw, and Fire Blast. Brick Break might still be on the table. I think we're gonna have to see, and there it is. Yeah, so Salamence does come out with the Brick Break. Zapdos will absorb it with that flying type, taking a little bit of damage, not quite falling into sand KO range, and now the Toxic damage is starting to rack up out the Salamence. Thunderbolt comes out, and that's gonna be a double KO after this Sandstorm and Sandstorm and Toxic damage. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, player on the left does have to reveal that they're sending out the T-Tar now, and the opponent can send in their T-Tar as well. Earthquake coming out from both sides, although the T-Tar on the right took way more than the T-Tar on the left from that, so potentially not running any bulk, maybe a Dragon Dance set. It's not clear, but it is running Earthquake, and with that little bulk, you could maybe assume Dragon Dance. But Dugtrio is going to come in and make quick work of that. Zapdos coming in now, obviously immune to Dugtrio locked into Earthquake. So I wouldn't say it's over yet. When there's a choice, or excuse me, when there's an Agility Metagross in the back, when there's a will, there's a way. HP Ice is going to do a lot of damage to Celebi with the crit. Unfortunately, not enough to take it out. But now knowing that that's HP Ice and not HP Grass, I Love You Jesus can bring in his own Swampert very comfortably. And honestly, Swampert is looking kind of unbeatable right now. Ice Beam going to come out, do a good amount of damage to the Zapdos. We know that the Swampert does have Protect for additional chip heal if he wants it. He might go for it. He might be afraid of a Zapdos setting up something. He went for an Earthquake. Interesting. I don't really agree with that. I would have just kept hammering away at Zapdos at this point. Because you don't really have much to fear even if the Metagross does come in on an Ice Beam. Like, he's risking a 10% freeze chance, and you can always use Earthquake next turn anyway. Explosion, that's a thing that happens, I guess. But you have Celebi with the Leech Seed. He's only got Zapdos at this point. Okay, Starmie coming in. I think an Ice Beam might be enough to kill after Sandstorm Chip. Let's take a look. Yeah, there it is. Very comfortable KO on that Zapdos. So that's going to be a 1-0 in favor of I Love You Jesus. And that's going to be game 1. Let's head on to game 2. Here we go. Game 2 from our players, Hikari, or Firemaster, and Cyberodin. So another Zapdos lead on ex-Hoshi side. Tyranitar lead this time on the left. That is a little bit more in favor for Tyranitar if it's running the Rock Attack. However, it doesn't seem like it is. But the Crunch does get a special defense drop, which may spell a 2-hit KO on the Zapdos. But Taunt passing the... Oh my goodness. Okay, so had he gone for another Crunch, he definitely would have killed this Dugtrio after that -1 special defense, which was a really risky play by our player on the right. But that Earthquake is going to land true, taking out the Tyranitar. And now Suicune comes in, giving the opponent the opportunity for a Weather Clear, if that's the kind of team that we're facing up against this time. Surf is going to do 33% to Zapdos, implying probably a little bit more offensive, not as much bulk on there from, just my immature judgment off of that damage calculation. But Claydol coming in to absorb the Thunderbolt, and that is going to be a Rain Dance setup, and Zapdos will survive thanks to getting rid of the sand. Very clutch. Oh, is that HP Water? I have no idea. I don't think so. Critical hit, it might have been. I honestly don't know. Very interesting, but the crit does allow him to take out a Claydol. I think someone should calc that and see if that would kill if it was a crit HP Ice. I feel like it wouldn't. So that might have been HP Water, but honestly, who can say? Body Slam going to come out on this Heracross, no paralysis as this, oh my goodness, Swords Dance into the perfect range for Salicberry and Swarm, and a Mega Horn or a Reversal is going to do a ton of damage right now. Heracross is in position to start taking names, and oh my goodness, 50% on the Suicune. Leftovers Chip Heal will bring that back up, but that Mega Horn is going to do more than enough damage to get the kill there. Salamence coming back in for the Intimidate one more time. Will he try and sack something else with this? The Mega Horn in Swarm range is just too powerful, even a neutral attack, and it's looking pretty... Oh my goodness. That is a 97% on the Metagross. Unfortunately, missing the Meteor Mash to add salt to the wound. And now the Snorlax, you may as well just... yeah, you're basically done. Just self-destruct at this point, no. Yeah, just self-destruct at this point, man. It's over. Let's go game 3, game 3. Game 3, game 3. Alright, no big deal, no big deal. Okay, Dugtrio is going to come in, get that Earthquake to get the kill. And we're going to go 1-1. And now the final game of the set. That was a really fast one. But it'd be like that sometimes. This time we see another Tyranitar lead on the left side and a Skarmory lead on the right. Always kind of an awkward situation. You don't want to risk getting Toxic on your Tyranitar, and then Skarmory can usually live a Fire Blast, at least one Fire Blast from a T-Tar in the lead spot. Fire Punch does come out. Skarmory scouts that successfully with the Protect. Really good move. Give him some knowledge on what kind of Jirachi this is. So running Fire Punch, it might be running something like Wish, Protect, Toxic, Fire Punch. I think that's a set that people use, right? I'm gonna go ahead and block that Seismic Toss. Good idea to scout for something like Thunder Wave from the Blizzy. You don't want to get your Jirachi paralyzed. Definitely something you want to avoid at all costs. Fire Punch not really doing any damage. 20% burn not going off. Meanwhile, Jirachi risking the 10% on that Ice Beam right there. Seismic Toss does come out though, and that's gonna do a good 30% to the Skarmory here. Not quite immediately threatening, but definitely the kind of thing you wouldn't want to take on long term. Zapdos coming in, very threatening for the Skarmory. We haven't seen anything on the left side that really wants to take a Thunderbolt yet. I think we could very well see something like a Swampert. I think that has really good defensive synergy with Skarmory. But no, Jirachi does come in to take care of the Zapdos, and Roar is just going to bring our friend Skarm back in for a little bit more chip heal. We're back we're back to where we started, honestly. Burning some Protects, burning some Thunderbolts. Leftovers is keeping everyone healthy. Skarmory back up to full now. Always nice. And there's the ground type. It's a Claydol. Very, very cool. We have an opportunity to get rid of the Spike. I almost said Stealth Rocks. We have the opportunity to get rid of the Spikes, but he does go for the double switch into Jirachi. Just kind of, I assume, wanting to measure the response from X-Hoshi. The Will-O-Wisp does come out. That is going to get a burn on Jirachi. Not the kind of thing you want to experience, but eye for an eye, burn for a burn, and Gengar is going to catch that 20% burn from the Jirachi Fire Punch. Unfortunately, honestly, I don't think it was worth it. I don't know if he had any better options to deal with this Gengar at this point. Skarmory is going to come back in. May as well go ahead and set up his spikes. He knows Gengar is on a timer now, so he feels comfortable going for his own spikes. May be able to rapid spin the spikes a little bit later if he gets the opportunity with Claydol. Yep, here we go. Jirachi going for the Wish, just making sure it stays healthy. Luckily, the burn damage doesn't, escalate over time like Toxic does, so Jirachi isn't really worried about dying to the burn only. It does put a lot of pressure on it, and may wear it down if it stays in for too long without wishing. Blissey is going to come in, effectively walling Jirachi, but not really threatening it. Just kind of a stalemate situation between the two. But with that burn, of course, the Seismic Toss is going to have a more noticeable impact. A lot of flyers on Hoshi's side, which makes you really question, the value of this third layer of spikes. Great Toxic predicting the Roar from Zapdos, and that is going to put the Zapdos on a timer. I don't know. We saw Seismic Toss, Soft Boiled, and Ice Beam on Blissey. It's possible it's running Aromatherapy, but we don't really know at this stage. Claydol coming in, feeling very comfortable. I would just go for the Rapid Spin at this point. Yeah, very, very smart. Knowing that even if Gengar does come in, he's going to take Burn Chip, and then you can just safely switch back into another one of your bonds to take it. Rest on the Zapdos. Okay, that's really big. Get rid of that Toxic, and that is another kind of indication that there might be Aromatherapy on that Blissey. Jirachi coming in, I think it's going to go for a Wish right here. Oh, the Sleep Talk Roar. you love to see it, and that's going to be a normal priority Roar coming out, getting rid of the Jirachi and bringing in Gengar again. So we've seen Sleep Talk, Thunderbolt. Did we see the other moves on Zapdos? Yes, we've seen all of them so far. Roar, Rest, Sleep Talk, and Thunderbolt. That's right. I'm silly. I forgot. Anyway, we're doing a couple more switches here, really shuffling back and forth between the defensive options here. Blissey, of course, not appreciating that 25% of his health taken away by those spikes. Whirlwind's coming out, very fancy. Whirlwind typically not considered optimal because it does reveal that you're not running Drill Peck. But if you want to be cool, you run Whirlwind, just because it's technically more optimal because it can hit soundproof Pokemon, right? But it's not really the kind of thing that matters that much. Jirachi once again coming on the Skarmory, maybe going for a Fire Punch here. Big opportunity to get the burn, doesn't really get it. Very slow paced game here. That burn would have done a lot of had a lot of impact on progress, on getting progress here on the left side. Thunderbolt coming out from Gengar, Skarmory going for the Protect to scout that out and get some health back, of course, with the leftovers. You can't really hurt Gengar with a standard Skarmory set. I believe it's running the typical Protect, Toxic, Spikes, that shebang. Blissey coming in to absorb a Thunderbolt here. Oh, Gengar is running Hypnosis though. Is this Focus Punch Gengar? I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a second. But that Hypnosis landing true, putting the top. Oh my goodness gracious! There it is. That's the Focus Punch. So. Oh man. Okay, so Zapdos of course coming in, still asleep. I don't think he's burned any sleep churns because he used the Sleep Talk before, which does not allow you to burn a sleep churn in Gen 3. Sleep Talk coming out again, and that Thunderbolt is going to thud into the Claydol. Claydol here, will he go for the Rapid Spin once more? Yes, he will. He wants to get that Spike off the field. Going ahead and burning a churn of Sleep here with Zapdos. And now I think Psychic is just going to come out and do a little bit of damage. Doesn't get a Spidef drop. Roar, of course, you know, this Zapdos only having Thunderbolt, we know it can't really touch the Claydol. So it's kind of a perfect switch into this thing. And at this point, Blissey comes out taking 25%. Can you kill this thing with Psychic? Do you have Earthquake? I don't. Oh, he does have Earthquake. Okay, wonderful. And that Blissey is going to be taken out safely. Skarmory coming back in. With the ability to Toxic, I believe, or Roar, but Jirachi, of course, Skarmory, Gengar, all three, you know, very good switch-ins to this Skarmory. I think it's looking very heavily in the left player's favor at this point. The, you know, spikes have been spun off multiple times. Gengar is still burned. Zapdos is not at full health. Skarmory hasn't really, you know, had much of an impact just because all the Mons on the left side keep healing up. Like this Jirachi is just gonna go for a Wish right now. Flygon comes in, that's cool, bro, but like I'm getting my 50%. Like there's nothing you can do to stop me at this point, right? That Earthquake just gonna thud into a Protect, and now we have multiple options to deal with this Flygon. I think Skarmory is, yeah, the most likely option. Flamethrower coming out, actually 30%. It's not quite good enough to really threaten the Skarmory immediately, but it's you know, it's more accurate than Fire Blast, so I do respect it. But that is kind of the trade-off you have to make, not being able to immediately threaten Skarm, especially when it's running Protect for that reliability. Meanwhile, you've now been Toxic, and that means that if you want to stay in to deal with it with Flygon, you do have to be in for more turns due to the lower amount of damage. Flamethrower coming out, no burn on the Melodic, which would actually help out the left player more because that would activate Marvel Scale and you'd be able to heal off the damage comfortably as opposed to a Toxic. Ice Beam coming out on the Flygon, really good click, nothing that really resisted at this point. Even T-Tar coming in takes like 20% from that. And the Surf here, ooh, not quite enough to kill it. And Crunch is a special attack. That's, oh, you know, I said it wasn't going to do that much, but he did end up getting the special defense drop, which is going to have a good amount of, how should I say, impact. Oh, great call on the Zapdos coming in, going for that Ice Beam. But the Zapdos is pretty threatening right now. Oh wait, I'm lying. No, he can just go to Claydol. What am I talking about? This thing is not a threat. You can't do anything to Claydol. Like, this Mon is literally just sitting there. He can't do very much with his Zapdos at this point. Going for a Psychic, it's not doing a lot. This is a very defensive Zapdos set. Obviously, and of course the pressure on the Zapdos does mean that you're burning 2 Psychics every time you go for it. As a matter of fact, I think you were down to about, you know, 13 or fewer, because the pressure doesn't exactly show properly in Gen 3. That's one of those things that you get reminded of every time you look at the PP on a move in Gen 3 on Showdown. But Claydol coming back in, of course, we know it can come back in endlessly on the Zapdos. And, you know, we're just playing the shuffle game at this point. It's looking like a very slow burn type of game. You really just gotta fish for those special defense drops. There's not much else you can do to force the Zapdos out because both teams are pretty defensive, and like it's not easy to make progress when it's like a rest Zapdos that can just heal back up to full whenever it wants. Melodic coming out. You're probably running Refresh, right? So you're not worried about getting Toxic, so you can just go for the Recover here. Yeah, okay. And then Skarmory going for the Protect. Honestly, not much benefit to that. Surf gonna come out good and do a good bit of chip damage. Toxic does happen, sure, but like I said, there's no way you bring in this Melodic if you're not running Refresh here. Unless Gengar came out. What's happening? What's this Gengar trying to do? Have we seen any moves on this Gengar besides... Oh yeah, we saw the whole set. I forgot. This set has been going on, or this match has been going on for so long that I'm like, I've forgotten what moves you've already seen on each Mon. But the Thunderbolt gonna thud into Protect. Flygon coming in, gonna block that. And we know, obviously, he's running Focus Punch and Hypnosis. He's probably not running Ice Punch. I would say, like, Explosion. Alright! Oh, never mind. Never mind. I've been outplayed. He's running Ice Punch, so that's gonna cleanly take out the Flygon. Unfortunate for our player on the right, things are just really not going his way. This is one of those really long, drawn-out games where it feels like every move you make is countered perfectly by your opponent. Jirachi coming in now, going to take only under 20% from that Thunderbolt. Even with the Burn Chip, it's not doing enough to take down the Jirachi, and the Burn Chip on the Gengar is having way more impact at this point, especially because Gengar is not immune to Sandstorm, so he doesn't actually get to have that small bit of recovery from leftovers to offset the burn damage. Jirachi, of course, doesn't have to worry about Zapdos because you can always just bring in Claydol, and most of your team is levitating at this point. You don't really care about those spikes that much. Like, oh, I guess no, that's not true. It's about half and half. Claydol coming back in once again. You go for the Rapid Spin. Why not? Let him bring Gengar. Sure, go for it. I don't really care, bro. Like, you're toast one way or another. There's not much this Gengar can do to avoid dying a slow, painful death to this Will-O-Wisp, or excuse me, that burn, right? Giga Drain, actually, you know, that would have kept him alive a little bit longer. Unfortunately, you know, had he been able to steal some HP from Claydol, not that it would have made a big difference, right? But now Gengar is gone, and little by little, you know, our team on the left here has whittled down the opposition. Melodic coming in as Jirachi goes for a Wish, just playing it safe, you know, playing the slow burn here, very safe play style, surviving the Thunderbolt. God damn, Melodic is really something else. This thing just does not die from special attacks, which is really wild considering, you know, in Gen 3, the only super effective attacks against Pokemon like Melodic and Suicune are special because all grass and electric moves are special. Anyway, still very much in favor of our player here on the left due to the fact that the Zapdos cannot touch Claydol categorically, and his remaining Mons, you know, Skarmory is not the type of Mon you win a game with on its own, and Tyranitar, I believe, is at about, what, 50-something%? 40, oh, never mind, he dies to spikes. Oh, oof. Yeah, this game is looking pretty rough for our player on the right. All 6 Mons still intact for our player on the left here, and that's really, oh my goodness, that's as bad as it gets, right? You haven't even taken out a single Mon. But the Zapdos, you know, making a last stand, I respect the attempt, you know, going all the way to the very end. It is a tournament game, you know, give respect to your opponents, play it out, you know. You don't want to regret it later. Maybe you saw a path to victory somehow with your sleeping Zapdos here. Thunderbolt is going to land on the Melodic, going to get him that. A critical hit definitely didn't matter at that point, but is going to get him his first KO of this game. And now Tyranitar is in and ready to start doing some damage. Skarmory does switch in on the Rock Slide, but have we seen this T-Tar set? No, we haven't seen a single move until now from T-Tar, and it's a DD-Tar. Here we go. Toxic is going to go to the left, unfortunately. It does look like it's Lumberry too, as we're not seeing any leftovers healing, and this is oh my goodness. This is as bad as it gets, right? Like, it's, you know, it was already looking pretty dire for our player on the right side, but this is just salt in the wound, as they say, right? Like, you missed 2 Toxics. Granted, you probably would have been taken out before the Toxic had a chance to KO the T-Tar, but it is what it is, right? Anyway, that's going to be GG's. I believe Cyber Odin is on the left, who took the victory. I've kind of been having a fun time just saying left player, right player because their names are different. But that was a really fun series. Very happy I was able to to narrate this. Speaking of donating, remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and if you're interested, please remember to donate to the ADV Revival 2 prize pool. And yeah, I'm hopefully going to be narrating another round 6 battle soon, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.